Good evening, everyone. I'm Anthony Sebastian from BSed Science Education student, um, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Science. I'm a third year college student of Assumption College of Davao, and this is my reporting, or this is my reporting about the TTL or Teaching and Learning 2. So today we're going to talk about the K to 12 curriculum. So let's go and talk about the K-12 curriculum framework. The implementation of the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education paved the way for the enhancement of the teacher education curriculum of the Commission in Higher Education. So the salient features of the K-12 curriculum have been thoroughly considered to ensure that all the courses in the teacher education program will meet the demands of the 21st century classrooms. One of the considerations is the need to implement the following salient features of the curriculum through integrating technologies for teaching and learning. When we say about the salient features, so these are the features that stands out or that makes the K-12 curriculum different from the previous curriculum that we have. So now let's going to talk about the salient features. So the first one is the strengthening early childhood education or the universal kindergarten. So with the universal kindergarten program of the department, every Filipino child is expected to have access to early childhood education. So this access can be facilitated using technological tools that are readily available to the school for teachers' use. So the next, we have the salient features. We have the making the curriculum relevant to learners with the contextualization enhancement. So research shows that learners will value a curriculum that is relevant to their lives. According to Sarah Bernard in 2010 Trust, students need to have a personal connection to a lesson material that can be done through engaging them emotionally or through connecting the information with that which they already know. Next is building proficiency or the mother tongue-based multilingual education. So to be able to promote the child's dominant language and to use it as a language of instruction, maximum use of technological tools is highly encouraged. Mother tongue is used in instruction and learning materials of other learning areas. So next we have ensuring integrated and seamless learning or the spiral progression. So learning basic concepts that lead to more complex and sophisticated version of the general concepts entail TPAC, technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. This also allows learners to learn topics and skills appropriate to the development and cognitive skills. So the spiral progression. So next, the gearing up for the future. The K-12 curriculum ensures college readiness by aligning the core and applied courses to the college readiness standards and the new general education curriculum. So nurturing the holistically developed Filipino college and livelihood. So to nurture holistically developed Filipino, every K-12 curriculum graduate is expected to be ready to gain different paths, higher education, employment, entrepreneurship. So teachers play a very important role in facilitation of the student learning by designing, implementing, and evaluating the curriculum. In the Philippines, teachers are expected to actively engage themselves in the curriculum design to ensure that the K-12 curriculum will best delivered to fully realize its intended learning outcomes. Teachers make decisions about how they will implement the curriculum, their specific field of specialization. Hence, the decision of teachers is very important. This is an impact on the students' learning. Next are the following are your points to consider in identifying and understanding teachers' roles as curriculum designers. So this is all about the teachers. So undoubtedly, the most important person in the curriculum implementation process is the teacher, without no doubt. They are the one who implements the curriculum. So with their knowledge, experience, and competencies, teachers are central to any curriculum development effort. Better teachers support better learning because they are most knowledgeable about the practice of teaching and are responsible for introducing the curriculum in the classroom. So curriculum is the planned interaction of pupils with instructional content, materials, resources, and processes for evaluating the attainment of educational objectives. So the curriculum is content, but when contextualized, it comes alive for students. The role of teachers in the curriculum process is to help students develop an engaged relationship with the content. So just the curriculum is all about words lang siya, all about the content, but with the help of the teacher who makes the curriculum alive, it is a vital role, or it is the role of the teacher there is very vital in the learning of the students. Next is teachers on their part have practical knowledge based on their daily work with students. So this knowledge is useful to curriculum committees because teachers can access whether the ideas being developed will work in the classroom. So the part also of teacher here is to, because of their experience or their great experience or their knowledge, they make the curriculum very useful in creating a classroom that is suitable to all the learners. That's all. That's all for the K to 12 curriculum framework. So good evening once again. Um, They were going to talk about the ICT pedagogy integration in language learning plans. This is how the ICT, the information communication technology in the art of teaching, is being integrated in the language learning plan. So teaching has always been a challenging profession since knowledge has been expanding and essential skills have been increasing and changing. So understanding this will help you successfully integrate technologies to allow your students to demonstrate the intended learning outcomes of your field of specialization. So this is integrating technology in instruction. Various educators and researchers provided the following concept and principles about integrating technology in instruction. So the first one is by John Pisapia. John Pisapia in 1994, integrating technology with teaching means the use of learning technologies to introduce, reinforce, supplement, and extend skills. So the second one is the International Society for Technology and Education, or ISTE. So this is the effective integration of technology is achieved when students are able to select technology tools to help them obtain information in a timely manner, analyze and synthesize the information, and present it professionally. So the technology should become an integral part of how the classroom functions, as accessible as all other classroom tools. So according also to Margaret Law in 2005, ICT integration encompasses an integral part of broader curriculum reforms, which include both infrastructural as well as pedagogical considerations that are changing not only how learning occurs, but what is learned. So in the fourth, we have the Kian Wang and the Wiley Tun 2007 based on the scope of content covered. ICT integration can happen in three different areas: the curriculum, the topic, and the lesson. So the fourth concept, this is the fourth concept, it states that the integration of information and communication technology serves as a training ground for education, not just to improve, not just to improve their skills, but also to enhance their understanding to the goal of universal education. Okay, so Bernard Bahati in 2010, so the process of integrating ICT in teaching and learning has to be done at both pedagogical and technological levels with much emphasis both on pedagogy. Next, we have the UNESCO in 2005. So the ICT integration is not merely mastering the hardware and software skills. Teachers need to realize that organize the classroom to structure the learning tasks so that ICT resources become automatic and natural response to the requirements for learning environments in the same way as teachers use markers and whiteboards in the classroom. So the information and communication technology. So before you can successfully integrate ICTs in your language instruction, there's a need to have a good grasp of what information communication technology is all about. So the following are definitions of ICT from various sources. According to Morrison in 2005, ICT includes all the full range of computer hardware, computer software, and telecommunication facilities. It includes computerized machinery and computerized robots. So we have also Ting in 2009 that ICT is a diverse set of technological tools and resources used to communicate, create, disseminate, store, and manage information. So these technologies include hardware devices, software applications, internet connectivity, broadcasting technologies, and telephony. So Ratiswari in 2018 stated that information communication technology influences every aspect of life, in which it summarizes all the information that those three persons and groups have been implying to. So they play salient roles in workplaces, in business, education, and entertainment. So in this digital era, ICT is important in the classroom for giving students opportunities to learn and apply the required 21st century skills. So using ICT integration framework and language education learning plans. So there are a lot of concepts provided by experts relevant to integrating technology and instruction. These concepts are very helpful to clarify lingering issues and how the technologies are properly integrated in the teaching learning process. For this purpose, the following framework may serve as a guide in integrating ICTs and developing learning plans or lesson plan in different subjects. First one is the conversational framework of Laurila in 2002. So the teaching learning process poses a very complex task to allow learners to understand their lessons and master the skills they are expected to demonstrate. Thus, it will be reassuring if teachers will explore engaging various media to support various learning activities in classrooms. So the three fundamental elements of ICT, this is the second framework. You have the three fundamental elements of ICT integration by Wang in 2008. So Wang in 2008 posted that integration of ICT consists of three fundamental elements. These are the pedagogy, social interaction, and technology. So this chart or this no, this chart explains the conversational of the three fundamental elements of ICT in of ICT integration by Wang. So we have here the teacher education at the center. We at the top we have the content and the pedagogy. At the right side we have technical issues. At the bottom we have the social issues. And on the left side we have the collaboration and networking. So the categories for information communication and technology in ICT and teacher training. So ICT is a diverse set of technological tools and resources used to communicate, create, disseminate, store, and manage information. These technologies include hardware device, software applications, internet connectivity, broadcasting technologies, and telephony. So we have also here another graph. We have the core technology, the learning via ICT, the complementary, the complementary technology. We have also learning how to use ICT. So at the first quadrant at the upper left, we have the ICT as a main content of the focus. And on the upper right, we have the ICT as a core delivery technology. So core delivery technology, this ICT there is used as a medium or as a media. So at the bottom, we have ICT, at the bottom right, we have ICT as a facilitating or networking technology. So in this type, we use this technology as a channel to create or to connect to other learners or other facilitator. So ICT as part of content or method. So in this quadrant, in this last quadrant, ICT there is being used in express or in disseminating the content or in disseminating the lessons and the topics in discussing the lessons and the topics. So the fourth framework, we have UNESCO ICT competence framework for teachers. So having a society that is increasingly based on information and knowledge, and with the ubiquity of ICT for instruction, UNESCO was able to develop ICT competence framework for teachers of UNESCO 2018. Across the six aspects of work are the three approaches to teaching based on human capacity development: knowledge acquisition, knowledge deepening, and knowledge creation. When we say knowledge acquisition, it is how we acquire the knowledge. When we say knowledge deepening, it is how to dig deeper about the knowledge about the information that we have or about the knowledge that we have. And the knowledge creation is to create a knowledge based on your understanding from the multi perspectives of everybody. So the Commission in Higher Education, or the CHED, through its policy standards and guidelines, or PSGs, requires the integration of ICTs in language teaching and learning. So because of this human capacity development, the Commission in Higher Education and requires mandates the integration of ICT in the language teaching learning and the language teaching and learning process. That would be all. That would be all about the ICT integration and the language and learning plans. And this is the inquiry-based learning and research-based learning. So the nature of inquiry-based learning. We have to start with the nature of inquiry-based learning. Inquiry, in its simplest definition, is a process of asking questions. So in the classroom, in particular, the process of inquiry is a basic learning activity that every teacher is expected to facilitate. The development of the ability to ask among learners is basic in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. So when to use? So there is a specific time on when to use inquiry-based learning. So Chris Holm and Godley purport that inquiry-based instruction or IBI offers an especially appropriate approach to learning about language variation, identity, and power, since IBI can provide students with opportunities to learn about current issues in social linguistics through sharing and debating on a personal experience with language from multiple perspectives. So that we have also the four types of inquiry in which value presented this four types of inquiry that can be used in facilitating classes. These are structured, controlled, guided, and free inquiry. So the first one is the structured inquiry, in which this lets the students follow the lead of the teacher as the entire class engages in one inquiry together. So next is we have the controlled inquiry. The teacher chooses topics and identifies the resources that the students will use to answer the questions. So guided inquiry, the teacher chooses topics or questions and students design the product or solution. So in guided inquiry, the students or the learners there are much more free than the controlled inquiry and the structured inquiry, because the role of the teacher there is to choose only the topic or the questions, but the students will going to decide the product or the solution. They are going to make their own process and how they are going to present it. So they are going to present it on their own based from what they understand and based on which the students are very comfortable of doing. So next we have the free inquiry, in which students are allowed to choose their own topics without any preference to a prescribed outcome. So, and the role of the teacher of this inquiry-based learning is the success of IBL largely depends on the careful planning of the teacher in relation to the curriculum. So the language teacher needs to look into the learning competencies that can be satisfied by a simple inquiry or more complex inquiry. So when assigning an IBL, the teacher has to consider the following fields proposed by ABSEC and Kojenschik in 2016. Next is the role of technology. So the internet or the World Wide Web offers a lot of platforms for mining information. It has become the most sought out source of information because of the variety of tools about. Technology tools that are made available for the learners, whether online or offline, should support the object of inquiry, which is aligned to the learning competencies in the K-12 language curriculum. It should be noted that the use of technology in IBL is just one of many other sources of information in the process of inquiry. So the role of technology there plays a very important role, because technology is the main source, especially in today's time. Technology is the main source of information of the students. But we need to understand, or we need as a 21st century learner and as a part of the teacher education curriculum, and as a part of obtaining the goal of the 21st century skills, we need to criticize first the information that we have perceived from the World Wide Web. Because if the World Wide Web offers a lot of platforms to mining information, there are also many fake news. And we need to criticize that information very well so that we can be reliable and credible of the information that we have. We should be honest with ourselves also. Okay. So that would be all about the inquiry-based learning and the research-based learning. But we should take note about, just like what I said, yung yung magpe-perceive tayo ng information from the internet, we should criticize that information very well. Okay? Thank you. So good evening again. So today we're going to talk about the problem-based learning and project-based learning. Ayun talaga niya malawig. So, in the nature of problem-based learning, the problem-based learning is an approach that involves a process of inquiry and solving open-ended questions that serve as the main problem that the learners will work on. So, the type of questions posited is focused on a specific content standard and its application to real-life issues. So the problem-based learning is also similar to the inquiry-based learning, in which we are going to task to make questions. Ali in 2019 described PBL, the problem-based learning, as a process that is used to identify problems with scenario to increase knowledge and understanding. So in her article, she proposed the following 5 principles of PBL that may be considered by teachers in planning or using the approach. So these are the 5 principles of PBL. It is a power of independent and self-directed learning, but learning happens in a group of teachers, a facilitator. in integrating this problem-based learning. Learning the teacher or the teacher that the role of the teacher there is also is always a facilitator, but she need to make groupings, because in that way students can learn more based on different perspective of their classmates. So all groups have to participate equally. Students learn about motivation, teamwork, problem solving, and engagement with the task. So even if they are in the group, they are going to value teamwork, the importance of teamwork. They enhances their motivation, and also they have the problems to solve the problem and engagement with the task. Some materials used such as data, photographs, articles can be used to solve the problem. So in the PPL, the problem-based learning is all not about all the words, the sentences, the paragraphs that can solve the problem, but also the data and the photographs that are being presented. And those are the important lying factors in the five principles of PPL. So, Liu in 2009 proposed a six-stage process using the adoption of the online PBL. So, the first stage is the identifying the problem, the current issues that do not just have one answer or one definite solution. Next, we have the brainstorming, generate ideas, tackle the problem through self-directed questioning, and arouse students' intrinsic motivation. So, after we have identified the problem, we need to brainstorm with our group mates. So we have to brainstorm with our team in order to gather information based on their perspective, and also to collecting and analyzing the information, assigning group members to collect information, posting what they found and what they learned, collaborative collection of useful information. So after the brainstorming, we need to collect and analyze the information that we have received. And after the collecting and analyzing the information, we need to synthesize the information by solving the problem through synthesized relevant data or the knowledge building. We need to after we collect the information and the data, we analyze the data and the information, and then synthesize. We need to make that information. We need to find the main topic or the main idea of that information, the main solution. Next is the co-building knowledge, is the presentation of the solution to the learning problem or issue. In the whole building knowledge, the group have found the solution of the specific problem, but they kailangan mo na ibigay sa kanilang mga groupmates in order for them also to understand what is happening, or to understand how did they come up with the solution. So the last one is the refining outcomes, or giving of feedback and suggestions of the instructor to help students improve learning from other groups' presentations. So the refining our outcomes is the presentation of the result or the solution of the specific problem. So benefits of problem-based learning. Several studies have revealed positive impacts of PBL on learners as they engage in the process. Among these are the following. According to Goffin and Ermawati in 2018, page 66 in AFL writing class, it promotes self-confidence and motivation. It reduces students' nervousness during the learning process, increases students' responsibility in learning, makes students easily learn the material through sharing of ideas, promotes problem-solving skills. So it enhances the skills of the students to solve more problems, especially if it talks about the real life problems. So promotes self-directed learning, promotes active learning, makes students explore many learning resources, so and makes students develop positive attitude towards learner. So we have from for Barish, Ali, and Darmi in 2019, the EFL students, it enhances fluency in communication. So through the constant interaction with their group mates, with the different people, with the different groups each day, student enhance the fluency in communication. Hindi na siya matatakot kung kailan siya mag-share ng idea. So it improves grammar through continuous speaking. You can improve your grammar, increases comprehension, enhances good pronunciations and intonations, enhances self-confidence, and increase range of vocabulary. So for English as a foreign language, EFL students, PBL it's almost the same as what as Parish, Ali, and Darme. It enhances fluency in communication, improves grammar, increases comprehension, and enhances good pronunciation and intonations, enhances self-confidence, increases range of vocabulary. So the study of Lee in 2019 revealed statistically that the PBL participants are are more absorbed, more improvement, and already comprehensions of the non-PBL participants. The role of technology. So these online tools will allow the learners to be actively connected and engage in the group tasks while monitoring their own contributions. So Bauer, Hedberg, and Kuswala stress that technology is simply the mediator for collaboration and representation, and that is the type of task and thinking process in which students engage that determine the quality of learning. The WWN or the World Wide Web has opportunities for PBL that can be utilized by the learners to accomplish their tasks. Web 2.0 technologies are characterized by collaboration, sharing, and networking. So the role of technology there is very important also because it helps to communicate the group tasks, especially in these times in which we are working from home, we are far from each other, we cannot go to the school to meet face to face. So we are using technology in order to continuously connect with our classmates and group mates. So productivity tools such as those for writing, presentations, spreadsheets, calendars, organizers, citations, and others are also available to assist learners and teachers in accomplishing required tasks and outputs from a PBL activity. There are free tools that can be downloaded from mobile phones, laptops, or desktops. Before using or recommending these tools to learners, it is important that teachers take note or try out the tools first to be familiar with the most appropriate tool for the PBL activity. It doesn't mean that we have the advent of technology. We can use whatever type of technology, but as a teacher and as a learner, we should know the importance of using this technology in learning. These productivity tools assist us in understanding and learning also. So the nature of project-based learning, project or based approach. Project-based learning is an approach but has evolved as a teaching method that engages learners in a series of planned tasks, resulting to the generation of solutions to real-world problems. This is a student-centered approach as it takes into account the realm of experiences and interests of students. This method is based on John Dewey's principle of learning by doing and Vygotsky's constructivist theory of learning that advocates a social construction of knowledge. PRBL and PBA is a collaborative learning activity where learners work on an authentic task guided by an open-ended question. So the project-based learning are student-centered approach in which the students are going to do the research, the students are going to do the process, and the students are going to experiment. The students are going to present the information and the knowledge that they have gathered. Past and more recent researchers have proven PRBL or the project-based learning to be beneficial in the development of various skills. So this research methodology skills by Tiwara Arya and Bansa in 2017, oral communicative competence by Bacarno or Dinarali in 2019, and development of life skills by Wardinger and Qureshi in 2015. So these are all the researchers that beneficial, that is very important in understanding differences of the skills to learn. So thank you. That would be all about the problem-based learning and the project-based learning. I hope you learned something from my explanation or from my video, and click on the subscribe. Thank you.